Okay, so quick demo. This is a sample of me playing the flute. It's not based on a tempo or anything, it's just me playing notes. I will now drag and drop the sample here. Then I'll choose a template for sampling. Okay, it takes a bit of time, but it's detecting all the notes from the sample. Then I can press apply and save it as an ADV file here. And then if I drag and drop this, I can drag and drop now the file in live, and that gives me a sampler preset. For all the notes, it has been trying to detect the pitch, the detune, the optimal looping regions to minimize artifacts, velocity zones. Yeah, it can be wrong sometimes, but overall it does a good job, and you can always refine it manually later. That was the quick demo. The rest of the video is probably going to be me trying to explain things badly or being angry about things, so you can just stop the video now if you want, and I'll go on and explain more details about the tool now. And actually the main reason why I created this, I didn't expect that I could do this. I'm spending a lot of time creating sampler presets like this. The way I usually do it is directly in live. I would take a sample like this. I would place warp markers. I won't do it entirely, but you get the idea. And I then do slice to new MIDI track. I choose warp marker, and I choose one of my own slicing presets. Yeah, this doesn't work like it used to for some reason. Now you have to, I don't know why, but you have to put the slicing presets in the set, and if you do that again, it will create the looping zones. But last week I discovered that these slicing presets, the custom presets, they had completely disappeared for some reason, and now they just reappeared. But I don't know, just in general, I have the feeling that everything that is about using your own samples or slicing presets or whatever is being slowly deprecated or not taken care of in live. I don't know why. And last week, for 1 week, it had completely disappeared from this menu, so I could not even use them anymore. And even though they seem to work again, for instance, I remember that in 2013, Live had announced that they were going to use pitch detection for some features in Live, and I thought, oh, that's really good. That means that I won't have to tune manually all the zones. When I do this, they will detect the pitch automatically. But no, it never. They just used the tuning feature for converting something to MIDI like this, but they never used it in the sampler zones for some reason. Although it took them like 20 years to implement these round robin features, and I don't know why. It seems they are spending a lot more efforts on simpler than sampler, but I don't really like it because I need many zones, and I'm just very used to sampler. Anyway, that got me to create the tool, and the initial way I intended to use the tool was just to use an already created ADV file, and I would use the tool only to define looping regions based on some kind of rule that I would have to define. But since I mostly vibe coded this and it was very quick to do, I could even ask it to accept an audio file as an input and just create the ADV file from scratch, and it's working pretty well as far as I can tell. It's still a bit buggy. It can be wrong sometimes. It can detect wrong notes, or it can detect things that are not really notes, and it's not very user-friendly, but I'm working on it. Since I have like hundreds of presets that I manually created myself for the last like 20 years, then I can use them to check the automatic detection against them. Like I have my pack of presets and I'm training, not as in training a neural network, but it's more like I'm comparing the automatic detection results to the choices that I made. And when there is a big difference, I can spot where the differences are and try to find solutions until I get as close as possible to the choices that I made. So how does this work? This is the zones list. There is only one zone here, but I can ask it to split the zones. It will use some kind of gating algorithm to detect nodes. You can tweak values for the threshold to use, but if you set it too low, it will probably detect nodes that are not really intended to be nodes, and if you set it too high, it will detect several nodes as one. But if you keep it in the middle, it's usually okay. Then we can refine the place of the starting points, ending points, using some kind of parameters. I won't go into detail. We can normalize the volume, but that might not be something that you want. It depends. The rest of the menu is mainly, if you check a box, like I check this box, it means that the value of the ADV parameter will be overridden with whatever value I would type here. And if I leave the box unchecked, it will keep the original value. So you can just use the tool to refine a small part. Like if I just want to find good looping points, I can use this. It will be weird because it will do it on the entire sample, but here I can ask it to define a looping region from like 20% to 75. There are other units. You can also do it based on the detected pitch of each note, and then I can ask it to. There's this parameter here, loop point search range. This will, if I set it to like 10%, it will slightly move the start and stop points, looking for zero crossing spots, and looking for spots that would minimize phasing or like minimize artifacts. There would be no phasing here because there is no crossfade, but if I set some crossfade, like 25% crossfade, this risks of creating artifacts or discontinuity between the end of the loop region and the start of the region. So the loop point search range will look for spots where it doesn't happen. This is typically something that takes a bit of time. The higher you put this value, the longer it will take for it to find the right spots, because it's kind of brute forcing every possibility. Yes, you can do the same for release loop, but I never use this, so I don't care. You can detect the note root. For instance, here I have been playing the flute, and I think I start with the right note, but sometimes I wobble a bit after a few seconds, so I can ask it to detect the note only on the first 10%. I'm not sure I should really explain everything. It's pretty obvious. This is I will not explain it. Then you can spread key. That's already a live feature, but this one is hard to emulate on live. You can say like I want to start with let's say okay, C0, and then imagine that I would sample. I sometimes do that with synths. I want to create a sample-based synth, but I don't want to sample every note. I want to sample every like 3 semitones, let's say. So I would do like this, and just to have either round robins or velocity zones, I want to sample each note 3 times, for instance. So I would do this, and then it will understand instead of detecting the root note, it will just default on this logic. I will probably change this at some point because it mixes the concept of root note and the zone. Like the zone is not necessarily around the root note, but I can also ask it to make choices based on the file name. If the file name is called like V, there are tooltips. So P is for pitch, V is for velocity, C is for chain, and D is for detune. So you can specify the pitch, the velocity, etc. from the file name. And then it's also trying to detect the velocity. Either you set multiple note case as layer. This is the case for round robin alternatives. Like same note has been sampled 3 times, and then you will have to check round robin. But if you set it to sort velocity, each time a note is present several times, like if the same note is present several times, either with this or with the tune detection, it will try to sort the notes from quietest to loudest. I usually prefer the quietest velocity, so if I put gamma to like 0.7, it will do a non-linear. First velocity will take more space than the second one, and the third one it will do something like this. Auto volume velocity, it means that if there is 3 velocity zones per note on average, it will set the velocity percentage here to 33%. Like it will divide 100% by the number of velocity. I hope it's obvious why you would want something like this. This is for cases where samples are not normalized. If they are normalized, you can usually you want this value to be 100%. Or crossfade between zones. Yeah, this is, you can ask it to do crossfade. This is also something that is a bit annoying to do manually sometimes, so it's convenient to have this. And again, you can use the tool. Yeah, you can uncheck everything and use the tool for only one feature if you want. So I hope this will be useful to some people. I know it will be useful for me for various reasons. You can sort zones. This is features that are already in live, but probably not start timing in the audio file, which is something useful. And this is just all the values in live sampler that you can override if you want. You can create templates. Like if you check, let's say that you always want a low pass, you can check this, ask for low pass, and save a template. then you can just load your template and apply it to many files. I will probably try to add a feature so that you can batch apply to for instance, I had this problem with sampler files created from Soonfont, like .sfz files converted to ADV files, and it will always do something like put this at 0 and put this at 0. And since a Soonfont can contain a lot of instruments, it was very annoying to do this manually. So at some point I created a Python script that did it for me. But that could be one of the use case for this tool as well. There are also some hidden parameters, like there's this section that I called bonus. These are parameters that apparently exist in Sampler, but you cannot access it, such as round robin seed. I don't know why you would want to change the seed, but yeah, I sometimes care about determinism, so why not? But I noticed that the people at Ableton, they probably also care about determinism, because I had noticed some changes over the past few years. A lot of things that were not deterministic are now deterministic, so it seems to be something that they care about. Yeah, copy samples, rename samples. This has not really been tested very well. What else can I say about this? Oh yeah, there's okay. Imagine that I'm doing this, like I'm doing split zones, and I'm doing. I ask the software to do a lot of operations, and then I apply them. It will split this sample into a lot of zones. It will not do anything to the sample itself. The sample file, like the wave, stays as it is, but it will just create new zones in the zone list. And then imagine that I want to just verify that everything has been sampled in a good way. This is the ADV file that the tool created. It's there. It has 6 zones. It has several velocities and apparently 2 different notes. The goal of the MIDI file that the tool created is to check that every note is okay. So the MIDI file will just play each possible note as many times as possible, and with every required velocity, so that I can just play. Yeah, it's an F sharp and a G, so it's okay. So I can just listen to the MIDI file, and if everything sounds okay, it means that it's probably okay. Of course, if you used round robin with a random order, it's not totally guaranteed that all the zone will be played once, but usually it's also the length of each note is calculated based on the tempo, so that you can hear the crossover region at least once. Yeah, well, I'll stop the video there. That's mostly all I wanted to say. I will continue to work on this, and I will try to use it on my own presets. And even if it's wrong, even if it's sometimes wrong, I think it can already speed up the process of sampling long samples a little bit. I don't know. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, I will probably put the link somewhere, but the tool is on GitHub. You just have to use Python and a few libraries, but you can just run it. It runs on Windows. Bye.